Hachette Audio presents No Justice, One White Police Officer, One Black Family, and How One Bullet Ripped Us Apart. Written by Robbie Tolan and Lawrence Ross. Read by Robbie Tolan. Forward by King Griffey Jr. Dedication. This book is dedicated to my angels, TP and Gladys, my grandparents. Thank you for answering my mom's prayers and saving my life. I pray that I've done something in this life and on this earth to make you both proud. Foreword by King Griffey Jr. When Robbie approached me about writing the foreword for his book, my answer was easy. I've known Robbie Tolan since before he was born. His mother Marion and my mother are practically sisters, and our dads were teammates in the major leagues. In fact, I used to mimic his dad's batting stance when I was younger. His dad, Bobby, and I also share the Comeback Player of the Year award as members of the Cincinnati Reds. Marion and Bobby Tolan are the godparents of my only daughter, Taryn. As you can see, the Tolan family is very near and dear to me. They are my family. In 1995, when I broke my wrist, Robbie and his mom were on the first flight to Seattle. Marion helped my wife Melissa and me around the house, and Robbie kept my son Trey well entertained. For many years, Trey was Robbie's shadow. He followed Robbie around the way that Robbie followed me around. As a kid, Robbie had such a passion for life. There was always a smile on his face and a light in his eyes indicative of the greatness within him, a greatness that we were all excited to witness. On the night of December 31st, 2008, that light went out. My family and I were absolutely devastated when we received that dreadful phone call in the early hours of New Year's Eve. I called Robbie's phone a dozen times hoping he would answer and tell me that this was all just some sort of sick joke. My heart sank when my family and I were all forced to face Robbie's reality. Sadly, we all know Robbie's story. Maybe you don't recognize his name or know any specific details of his case. Maybe he hasn't received a lot of publicity. But Robbie Tolan's case is indeed the paramount case in the good fight for righteousness. His is a story that we all hear far too often in this country, especially in recent years. It's a story of grave injustice. It's a story that Robbie and I both heard often as kids, when our dads were not allowed to stay in hotels with their teammates or eat with them at restaurants. Injustice happens whether we believe it does or not. Here is a man that has dealt injustice a mighty blow. A vast majority of the stories like Robbie's are told posthumously. His life could have very well ended that night in December 2008. In fact, statistically, it probably should have. But thankfully, Robbie is here to tell his own story. Robbie could have been angry and bitter about the hand he was dealt, especially since he was destined to join me in the major leagues. And I believe most people would agree that he would have been well within his right to possess those feelings. But the fact that Robbie has made a choice to be happy and joyful and optimistic says a tremendous amount about his character and integrity as a man. He is a man who we can all look up to. Robbie and I talk often, and I am always amazed at his resilience. Robbie is not just a survivor, he is a fighter. This is undoubtedly an era for change. Robbie Tolan is leading that change. The quest for justice can be a long and lonely one. It is a road that endlessly bends. Robbie has fought for all of us, so let us stand with him as he stands for us. After a good-fought round, let us patch him up in the corner and rub his shoulders before sending him back out to the middle of the ring to fight injustice. And should injustice send him back to us beaten and bruised, let us be his crutch when he is too weak to stand. I have had a long career in baseball that spans over 2 decades. The same passion with which I approached my career is the same passion I have for helping Robbie share his story. It is a story that he will have to share for the rest of his life, and I am honored to stand with him to help him do so. So again, when Robbie asked me to write the foreword for this book, the answer was easy. It was an unwavering, resounding yes. The strongest compliment I can give someone is to consider him or her as family.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?